Hey, what's up, guys? It's Briddick with Remax here in my office in Bellingham. And if you live in the city of Bellingham, you may or may not have heard about the new rules and regulations that have been adopted by the city of Bellingham in regards to short-term rentals, aka Airbnbs, VRBOs, with the advent of the new technologies, the online platforms, Airbnb.com, VRBO.com. It's made it really easy for folks to generate income for their properties by renting them out as nightly rentals, which in turn has created some uprising in the neighborhoods in terms of just noise, disruption, and obviously some disruption, I'm sure, from pushback from the hotels because it's impacting their business as well. So as a result of these things, the city of Bellingham has adopted new rules and regulations which will go into effect on May 5th of 2019. Now, I've gone through these, and there's still some things that are a little bit unclear to me, but there's a couple big points that I think are important to understand. And the first one is that if you do want to operate an Airbnb or VRBO or short-term rental in the city of Bellingham, you can only have one. So if you want to be like a hotel operator and use all your rental properties as short-term rentals, you're not going to be able to do that. You're going to be able to do just one. The other thing that I think is really important is that they're really favoring these short-term rentals to be in urban villages. And we've got 7 urban villages here you can see on this screen: Barclay, Fountain, Old Town, Waterfront, Downtown, Sammamish, Fairhaven, and then areas that are zoned for commercial, zoned for a hotel. They're lenient there. So if you are not in one of these urban villages, then you can really only have a short-term rental as attached to your house, where you live in the primary house or you live in your accessory dwelling unit. You have to be attached to it has to be attached to the property, and you can use that attached accessory dwelling unit as a short-term rental for up to 95 days. Now, you can also use, if your tenant is attached and they want to sublet it, they're going to be gone for the summer, they can do that as well with permission from the owner and part of the permitting process. And that's the other thing that they're really cracking down on, is forcing you to obtain these permits. And so they've got essentially these 2 types of permits on here, which I will show you. Let me see if I can pull it up. So they've got type 1, type 2, and then with condos, they essentially have a type 3 as well. Now, there's a lot more leniency if you're in one of the urban villages, because if you're not, as I said before, if you're not in one of the urban villages, you have to be living there. It has to be more like a bed and breakfast. When the urban village, if you've got a property in the urban village, it doesn't have to be your primary residence. So you can have a house in the urban village and you can rent that out, and there's no limit. As a short-term rental, you can do it all year round, of course, with proper permit. And but again, you can only own one in the city of Bellingham, and you have to obtain a short-term rental permit. And so I think this is going to be really, really interesting. What's not clear right now is what is the punishment for not abiding by these rules and regulations. What will the fines be? How will they regulate it? I've received emails from the city of Bellingham stating that they're now going to be hiring somebody or potentially multiple people to be enforcing these rules and regulations. So scanning Airbnb.com, scanning VRBO.com, and going back and making sure that, I'm sure, people have permits and that they are abiding by the right rules and regulations. So it's unclear right now what the punishment will be if you're not abiding by these rules, and I'm really curious to see what that is going to be. and really curious to see how this will impact the community. But it's something that I think is important, and I think that some people should be aware of this. So I'm going to shoot a link to this in this video below. You're going to see links to two documents. One is the actual ordinance, and the other is a really, really helpful and useful Q&A on these new rules and regulations that are going into effect. So hope you guys found this video useful, and I will talk to you soon.